Ghana Post will be looking at your financial performance and the financial position today. So on your financial performance, I can see that the bottom line, Ghana Post posted a very good profit from the initial loss position from 2022. But then I just want to understand a few things. Your operating cost went up by about 35%, and the general and administrative expenses also went up by 51.8%. I just want to understand, looking at the increase in revenue as against the increases in your expenditure, what accounted for that high increase in expenditure for 2023?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the answer is very simple in one word: the mismanagement of the economy by the Akufo-Addo administration. Because a lot of the increases, Ghana Post pays a lot of airlines for the transporting of the parcels that we send to Europe and the United States, and we pay that in dollars. So when you saw the mismanagement when Ken Ofori-Atta, Abina, and co were at the finance ministry, and Dr. Baumia in charge of the economic management team, you then saw that...
Respectfully, Minister, stop it right there. Just go straight to your question and answer, and don't be name-calling. You understand? Minister, please answer the question. Oh, when this was there, Oh, Minister, I don't think that is how we should be here. You are here. You have been here before. I have been where you are before.
I'm guided,
Let's just
Chairman.
go straight to the point.
I'm guided, Chairman.
Thank you.
So in 2023, when the cedi depreciated, you realize that because we're paying in dollars, if you were paying a fee of $100 to an airline and the exchange rate was 8, our expenditure would have been 800 cedis. And then when it went to 16 in 2023, you then have the challenge that your expenditure now becomes 1,600. So that's what accounted for that. So it's the forex losses, yeah. But I'm sure that when you see the 2025 financials, you realize that even though we are doing more volumes, our expenditure would have dropped, because now with a better, stronger cedi that's trading very favorably, you realize that our forex expenditure will be better.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Minister. I'm just looking at, I had earlier indicated that the bottom line for 2023 improved from a loss position of 1.2 million. All I wanted to understand was what accounted for the increases in the general admin expenses. And we are looking at the respective officers at these institutions. So going forward, we are looking at how best we can keep costs down and not just spend anyhow. That is why I asked that question. So we'll move on to the financial position, Minister. I can see that they improved slightly on their ratios, but then it's still not enough to be able to meet their short-term liabilities. So I would encourage that going forward, we pay attention to some of these things, so at least we don't get into situations like this. Thank you, Chair.
We are guided, Chair, and I can assure you that, 2022 as well, in all fairness to the previous administration, was also a recovery period. So the revenues were now picking up again, because in 2021, don't forget there was COVID. And so once there was COVID and you couldn't do a lot of movement of parcels, the recovery process is slow. It takes some time for it to build up. And so you then saw them go back to full profitability in 2023. So that's why you see the profit margin. But then the point is the profit could have been more if the forex thing was also low. So, yeah.
Minister, it's not just the forex. If you had reduced other expenditure, because usually that is one thing I have seen, running through most of the...
say if they had reduced expenditure.
Minister, there's continuity in government, so you better stop that and move on. Yes. Minister, what we have seen consistently in the public boards, with the public boards, is that once they make more revenue, they increase their expenditure. It was only Minerals Commission, where when they realized they were making losses, they decided to reduce their expenditure. And when they came in here, we commended them. But I knew it was not these particular people who made that commitment. But because they are the ones there continuing with what has been done, I commended them. So it is in that same vein that when you come and there are issues, you take it up and solve it. I believe that is why the people of Ghana voted for you. But Minister, the issue is not to do with just the exchange losses alone. If I should go into their operating cost, if I should ask them to break down the 134 million for me, you will see some things that will surprise you. So it's not just about the exchange losses, but there are other expenditures that are in there that ought not to be there. You sat here and told us how you are helping Ghana Digital Center to reduce their expenditure. Because they usually would have flown 6 people for just one event with one person. So these are the other things that we should be looking at. Because tomorrow, if we should see this thing, what are you also going to say? Is the same forex losses? No, but there are other equally important things that I believe we should spend some time to help them with, like you are helping GDCL. Help them with, and that should help them reduce their expenditure. The fact that they make more revenue doesn't mean, we should spend. So that's a note of caution to Minister, your agencies.
MD,
yes.
this is advice from the chair through me to you. You are guided. You want to take it as policy position.
All right. Let's go to the infractions. Unretired impress of 59,877. Have we retired this impress?
Has been retired and submitted to the Auditor Generals for verification in May 2025.
Auditors, could you confirm, please?
Honorable Chair, we can confirm that the impress has been retired. Thank you.
Thank you. The next infraction is on paragraph 953, and Honorable Akufo-Addo will handle that one.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, this infraction has to do with the renovation of Bekwai Post Office. And the auditors found that you did not seek concurrent approval for a variation of about 34,743 Ghana cedis. And they recommended that you seek that approval. Has that been done?
That was done and submitted. It was done. The variation was done. It was ratified by the Entity Tender Committee during its meeting on the 16th of November 2024, and that has been submitted to the Auditor Generals for verification.
Auditors, can you please confirm for us if that has been done?
Honorable Chair, the variation was subsequently ratified by the ETC. Thank you.
All right. All right. The next infraction is on paragraph 958, and Honorable Shirley Che will take care of that one.
Thank you. This is to do with procurements not executed through Ghana Electronic Procurement System. And our Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921, public corporations and state-owned entities are to maintain good governance and management practices. The Public Procurement Authority, reference letter PPA CEO 10/2491/23, made it mandatory for covered entities and state-owned enterprises to use the Ghana electronic procurement systems for all government procurements. Now the question is, why did you choose not to use the Ghana procurement electronic systems in transactions totaling over 7 million Ghana cedis?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, the Ghana Post operates in a very competitive area, and for that reason, we have in our hands here evidence of exemption by the Public Procurement Authority from us using the GANEPS for procurement. I have in my hand here a letter dated 21st February 2023, signed by the Chief Executive, Mr. Frank Mante. And let me just read paragraph 4. Approval is hereby conveyed for the exclusion of Ghana Post Company Limited from applying the public procurement procedures in its operation, subject to meeting the board requirement below. And then the full letter is here. And then I also have here, dated Wednesday, 9th July 2025, the Gazette of that exemption. So because we have that exemption, they will not be running their procurements through GANEPS. Thank you.
But
That information.
Sorry, a copy has been shared with the Auditor General.
so is there a reason why the auditors were not informed or were not given a copy of this letter?
At the time the audit was done, even though the approval had been given, it had not been gazetted. And so that's why we see, I said the letter was 21st February 2023, but the Gazette is dated 9th of July 2025. The new management was the one that did the Gazette. And so that's why at the time the audit was done, there was no Gazette to show to them.
Okay, good enough explanation, but I don't see how you are walking through an alleyway, there is light in one and there's darkness in one, and you choose to walk through darkness. I mean, what would be the consequence for practicing good governance? And I don't know why you were given that exemption. But I think the auditors recommended that you comply going forward. So can you give us an update if you've started complying?
Honorable Chair, we are not walking in any darkness. We are walking in light. The Ghana Post Company Limited has its own procurement manual approved by the PPA. So it's not the Wild West where procurements are just happening in any way. No. There's a specialized manual because, like I said, they operate against, the Ghana Post is operating against all the private courier companies that you see in the country. They don't, if Ghana Post was bidding, for example, the passport job, they went into that as a competitive bid with all the private entities who went in there. It would then mean that they will have to go through PPA and get commencement authorization and all the things that we're talking about today. That's why the PPA, in its wisdom, developed its procurement manual for it. And so it's not as though it's a murky ground where there's no transparency. It's guided by the PPA's own procedure. And the board ratifies, yes.
So my question was, you are meant to comply going forward. That's what management's response to the auditors was, that you were going to seek clarification and then start complying. So can you inform the committee if you've started complying?
Yes, Chair. That compliance is evidenced by the Gazette notice that we have done, dated 9th of July 2025.
Thank you very much.
All right. The next question, the next infraction is going to ask you why you didn't gazette it. And,
Ghana Post, you were given exemption from GANEP, from the use of GANEP, but you failed to publish that exemption. Why?
Honorable Abina says I should say that it's a continuum. So it's a continuum. We take responsibility for it, and we are sure that that's part of the reason why there was a change in government. Thank you.
The auditors...
Is that the answer to his question, or he did not ask you any question?
I asked why they failed to publish the exemption granted them by the National by the Public Procurement Authority. That is the question.
That was the question.
Yes.
Yes, but Minister, some of these things, when the public servants fail to do what is required of them, let's not hide behind the politicians and say, oh, this or that. Clearly, this is not something a minister will even do. You, the head or the procurement director or whoever, you are supposed to do those things. So it has nothing to do with government doing this or government not doing that. The person who was supposed to do it should have done it. So, Minister, this is not this or that, but it's when the public officers are supposed to do something, they ought to do it. When the politicians are also supposed to do something, then we also ought to do it and take responsibility as such. I mean, that's fair.
I'm fully in agreement with you, Honorable Chair. It's just that when the public servants mess up, they blame us. But we also, when they do it right, we also take the funds. So the buck stops with us. And I believe that as political appointees, we also have a responsibility of some sort to exercise oversight over the public servants who we oversee. So I think it's just managing that fine balance. Thank you.
Mr. Minister, has that been done so far?
Yes, please. We've stated earlier that we have done the Gazette. The able management at Ghana Post has done the Gazette dated Wednesday, 9th July 2025. So that's been done.
Can you confirm that?
Honorable Chair, we'll be pleased to have a copy of the Gazette. When we did a follow-up, what we had was a letter from PPA giving them exemption. But we are yet to cite the Gazette. Thank you.
Minister, do you have the copy of the...
Chairman, you know that this minister, because he's a former member of this committee, always comes prepared. I don't want to be in the position the chair was in here some time back. So I came prepared. I have my Gazette here. So please, clerk, come and take the Gazette and give to...
Right, thank you. Mr. Chairman, that is it.
You have to wait for us to tell you whether you came well prepared or not. You don't tell yourself you came well prepared. Just take your time, finish with the proceedings. If we are satisfied with your conduct, then we will say, yes, you came very well prepared and you have delivered. So, what did you do?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Hello. Okay, the next infraction is on paragraph 969, and Honorable Frankie Eboa will take care of that one.
Thank you, Chairman. And this one is on failure to account for strategic partnership operations. Paragraph 969. And Chairman, with your leave, I want to read Section 11 of the Audit Service Act 2000, Act 584, which states that the Auditor General or any person authorized or appointed for the purpose by the Auditor General shall have access to all books, records, returns, and other documents, including documents in computerized and electronic form relating to or relevant to those accounts. So with that in mind, Minister, this one, I want to advise that you allow the public servants also come in as well, because this one can be something that will be continuing. So Ghana Post entered into an agreement with a company called Collins C Investment Limited in March 2020 for the procurement, installation, maintenance, and management of their mail and parcel boxes. They opened an account at Car Bank. What I mean by